new fund?
Yes, so what you call the human resource challenges we had, which is indeed correct, the case, what time I mentioned, infrastructure finance professionals are much sought after. They're not easy to come by in the market, those who know their onions and who have a track record. So it's not, if you do not have a platform or the right sort of platform and the structures in place that ensures that you can retain them and they can thrive, there will be other options and other markets for them that will come beckoning for them. But what I've said is that despite the challenge, so we're learning. So we were the first. I may or may not have mentioned that we were the first infrastructure fund to launch in the Nigerian market.
You did.
So it was
you did.
first. Not only did we launch, I think first we were also doing equity. Now, infrastructure equity tends to be much more challenging and much more demanding than infrastructure debt. Debt is easier because people are happy to invest in debt products. When I lend you money, you give me my money back. I mean, you owe me the money, and I get security for get my money. But in equity is like you own your business. The business can go north or south, and if the business goes north and you make a lot of money, then you make money. If you don't make money, then you lose money. That kind of thing. So you need to have also on the human resource side the right policies and principles and approaches that actually align the interest of the team, of the management team, with the interest of the investors, and also incentivizes the management team appropriately. So I would say that.
Oh, sorry, sir. I don't know if it's from my end, but you've been breaking.
Okay. Is it any different?
I think it's fine. Yes, I can.
It's probably your end. Probably at your end.
Okay, so it's probably me. I'll just pause.
So I mentioned two things.
Try to catch up.
I mentioned two things. I mentioned that you need to have the right structures in place to make sure that the interest of your management team is fully aligned with the interest of the investors, both on the manager side and on the fund side. You also need to make sure that you have the right incentives in place that focus the minds of your management team. Otherwise, other clients, other opportunities will come back on it because their skills are much sought after. So I'm saying that despite the fact that we've had a few people, few of the best, we've had the very best professionals around, but we've lost some of them to other places. We've still managed to attract more. Why? Because we have kept solving the pain points, addressing all the issues. We've been learning. Like I mentioned, we were the first in the market. So we also set up something that's not been set up here before, and that had its own challenges, and that contributed to some of the difficulties we had in the past with professionals leaving. But it's a market where you actually work together. Everybody works with everybody. So the professionals who have left the business, I know where they are, and we still are trying to do business together. We do things together on the other side of different transactions.
Environment.
And interestingly, exactly, it's a very collaborative environment. And even my new colleagues who I've had, when I say my new colleagues I've had over in the last 4 years, there are people who have been on the other side of transactions that we've done things together. We've known each other for a long time. So despite the fact that although we're not working together in the same business, we know each other. We've been doing the same projects. So it's very easy to just blend back blend together and start working and make good progress. So that is how we've dealt with that. So some of the learnings from the past years, from the beginning of setting the business to date, we have brought them to bear and make sure that we have refined our policies and our structures to make sure that now where our interest is fully aligned across the investor groups, and now the team is much better incentivized. And we think we are on a very, very strong footing now to ensure that we can actually take off to real success going forward.
All right. Okay. You have it all under your control. I mean, and so of course, every company needs. I mean, there's always a need for more money. So let us just wind down a little bit, and then you can indulge us. If assuming that ARM-Harith gets a ridiculous amount of money, for investment, how exactly would you allocate those money? I mean, how would you expend them? A ridiculous amount of money for investments.
Okay. Well, I can assure you that in infrastructure, no amount of money is ridiculous. No amount of money is ridiculous. And because you will always have use for infrastructure for finance in infrastructure. I mentioned to you earlier one single project that had a total financing of almost $1 billion. that we had done. And that is not a typical. Around the world, you could have assets, project investments that are worth much more than that. I think Dangote refinery is almost the upwards of five. It's well over $3 billion in dollar terms, in terms of all of the capital. Both Aliko Dangote's own money as well as monies that are from other investors and monies that are borrowed is over $3 billion in dollar terms. So you would always find use for capital in infrastructure. And what you do is to not only size but also design your strategy in a way that suits the amount of capital you're trying to do. So basically, you would right now we are able to deploy small amounts of capital because we do mostly equity. Traditionally, the split between equity and debt in the typical infrastructure project is like 70-30. So it would be like 30% equity and 70% debt. We do equity, and we would typically not even do the mid-sized projects alone. We would co-invest along with others. It's part of the ways by which we de-risk the projects. Different investors bring different contributions, different inputs and supports to projects. And it's also an important way by which you manage stakeholders. Different people are able to manage different categories of stakeholders differently. So because of that, we find that we don't even need to invest more than, say, sometimes you don't even need to invest more than 25% of the equity. So if you have, say, a $1 billion project, 70% of the debt, 700, 30% equity is 300, and we are investing only 25%. That's just 75 million. Now, it's when having a large amount of capital means that you can write a bigger check. So I have more control of my destiny. I have more control of the assets I'm going to invest in. So I can, instead of doing 25%, 25%, I can do 50%. I can do 75%. And in addition, I can decide to do debt as well. In addition, so I'll basically expand my team and be able to do more projects. I'll expand my team and be able to do more instruments in the capital stack. And also, I will expand my focus countries to add more countries. And of course, part of the reason why we are focused on West Africa is because we plan to only limit offices, 1 or 2 offices in West Africa. If we want to widen our coverage, we'll be looking at having an office in southern part of Africa or in East Africa or in both. So definitely we will tailor our investments and business strategy accordingly to the capital that we are able to raise. So I promise you that don't be afraid to give us that huge amount of capital that you're thinking about.
Well, I'm sure
one HNI somewhere, or one family, one philanthropic family or something that wants to do infrastructure. Tell them to bring it on. We would adjust our strategy accordingly, and we'll be able to use it. And it will just bring more economic development, long run.
To the country, actually, it's good for the country, good for ARM-Harith. So I just want like a subtle plug in here. So it's about DCSL. So where's my question? Yes, okay. ARM-Harith has partnered with DCSL for a while now. How has that relationship supported your company's growth and operations?
Thank you. That's a good question. I should start by saying that one of the value that we bring in private equity, generally speaking, is different from any other type of investing, because as a private equity investor, you do not invest passively. You invest, in our case, for impact, and the impact is not just the impact has multiple dimensions to it. Not only the fact that you bring growth in terms of the venture or the project that it is that you develop, you build, and the developmental impact it brings to communities and economies. One of the things that we also one of the important features that we also bring to bear in terms of ensuring sustainability, long-term sustainability for projects and for businesses is governance. Of course, governance is in this case I'm talking about which is the G part of ESG. ESG these days is a powerful both terminology: environmental, social, and governance. And the G part of the ESG is corporate governance. And that corporate governance a key element of it is which we bring to bear on our portfolio companies, and which, of course, you cannot give what you don't have. It's what lawyers say. I'm sure I think one or both of you must be a lawyer. If not, at least one of you is a lawyer, and you may have had that.
Yes.
Both are lawyers. Okay. Back in your school, I don't know when it is you went to school, but back in my days, there used to be a lot of legal principles used to be enshrined in Latin magazines. There was a name of that code, don't have it. And
Yes,
it
yes.
is saying, lawyers say that you can't give what you don't have. If you don't have good corporate governance practices in your business, you cannot bequeath good corporate governance practices to portfolio companies. So governance is a very key element to address the risks to business and to ensure long-term sustainability of business. And that is something we bring to bear in businesses. DCSL has been part of that journey for us for many, many years, almost from the beginning. I think maybe approximately 2 to 3 years after we established ARM-Harith is when we brought DCSL on board to provide us with company secretarial and governance related services to us. And one good thing about DCSL is that they've also been DCSL has always been a journey of constant self-improvement and excellence. They're always trying to make themselves better. They're always trying to understand how they can add value even better, and they take feedback very well. And they've been a good partner with us over those years. So DCSL has definitely been a big contributor in terms of that key part of our business and the impact that we bring over the years. And of course, we have also recommended them to various partners who also have good testimonials about them.
This is true. My head is swelling on behalf of DCSL. Just since DCSL can actually have slow. Okay, Michael, take the last one.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for the very nice words. I mean, yeah. So maybe just to wrap it up with a touch of creativity. If we were to sum up. Yeah. So if you had to sum up ARM-Harith's mission, I'm using a movie title, a famous quote, or maybe a name of a song or whatever, what would it be and why?
This is my favorite part.
Wow, that's I have to think about that a little bit. I think maybe
just something witty,
Something
witty. Mission, maybe like your year's journey in a song or a quote or a film title.
Film title.
Mission Impossible.
I would. So if you give me a number of options I can choose from, I'll probably give you a quote from the industry. It's probably the best you get from me now. I'm not sure you can get. I'll probably need a bit more time to reflect on movie titles or song titles.
Michael suggested Mission Impossible. I was going to suggest Don't Stop Believing. Oh God. So movie title and a line from a song.
Yeah, I do like that last part you mentioned, that Don't Stop Believing. It's definitely resonates with who we are, what we stand for. Don't stop believing, because we haven't stopped believing. We don't quit. We've been on this for a while. There's get rich quick mentality. It's very, very typical in the environment. People want short cuts to making money. They want businesses that can start to turn large profits in overnight around here. It usually doesn't happen that way. It doesn't happen that way. Most of the time, in those times when it happens that way, it's usually not sustainable. But we believe that you need to basically grow the business over time, and you need to address go through various learning points before you basically perfect your business strategy, and before you perfect other things, and you can be on a smooth journey going forward. And of course, you make your name in the market, and when you become a household name, then people know that you know what you're doing, know the professionalism, you have the track record, and then the sky becomes really the beginning. So don't stop believing in something. That's how we started. We believe that you can build our infrastructure. Nigeria and West Africa does have great potential, and we can succeed in the success of the country and of the region. And that is what so don't stop is definitely something that resonates very well. I mean, Mission Impossible, you're saying it sounds
No, I mean,
impossible.
no Mission Impossible.
Yes,
ARM-Harith,
but
no Mission Impossible.
but yes, exactly. That's right. But we definitely do things that people think are impossible, but we succeed in doing them successfully.
Yeah.
And you do
So
it
basically, I would say that
with character.
our business, yes, we do it with character, and we do it ethically. We do it ethically, and that's very important because again, whether you are doing a major government-backed project or you are doing a private project, you will still need some sort of government involvement in what you do.
Yes.
Either it's regulatory, even if it's just pure regulatory, government will always be involved in infrastructure business. And it's not easy around here because there's definitely folks in government who get into all sorts of shady things and expectations.
Yeah, man.
But thankfully, there are also good people in government, as there are bad eggs in the government. So a lot of the times, it is those good ones that are the saving grace that why we still remain in business. And because again, business is a continuum, you would always have nobody can be there forever. As long as you have infrastructure is very long term, so you go through cycles. So even if you have challenges now, you can always solve for it, and you can eventually succeed longer term. I mean, we always say one of the things we say is a quote from one of the former Secretary Generals of the United Nations, which is that infrastructure is the foundation and the engine of growth for any economy and country, and that is where we play. We play at our business lies in an area where it's there's a huge impact on the growth on the economy and growth of a country. Without infrastructure, we cannot simply develop. And until the government partners effectively with the private sector, we will not come anywhere near the potential that we have in Africa and West Africa. So that's where I would like to leave it, if it's okay with you.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
I can see that. Like, I've had like a master class right now. I've had master class
Exactly,
in
I was about to
infrastructure
say that.
investment. Bam!
I mean, it's
Okay,
been
so
quite
let me just
insightful,
run over say, Mr. Oshikanlu, thank you so much for sharing your insights, your perspectives, and we are so honored to have you here. Thank you.
I mean,
You're most welcome.
it's absolutely inspiring. I mean, we applaud you and ARM-Harith for the great work you're doing.
Not that
to
our
the shape
applause counts, but
to the shape Africa's infrastructure landscape.
thank you.
Thank you very much
So-
for having me, for your time.
Thank you.
Speaking to
Thank
you.
you, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate
Just
it.
now to all
All
our
the best.
listeners, thank you for joining us. Mr. Oshikanlu, we have not finished the roundup. And to all our listeners, thank you for joining us. Be sure to follow DCSL Corporate Services on social media to catch future episodes and learn more about how we support organizations across Nigeria and beyond.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
that's how it's going to be for today's episode of DCSL Client Spotlight. Until
Thank
next
you,
time,
thank you.
stay tuned, stay inspired, stay awesome, don't lose your wonder, etc., etc.
Yeah, yes, finished. Thank you, Mr. Oshikanlu. We're stopping the recording now.
Thank you,
Thank you
Mr.
so much
Oshikanlu.
for your
We
time,
truly
sir.
appreciate it.